Okay, great. Otherwise, you can feel free to keep them open, just keep a soft gaze. So just coming into a bit of a deeper breath, just starting to mark the transition away from the workday and all that's happened before now to this moment. And doing your best to see if you can anchor the mind right here, trying not to jump ahead to what might happen after practice. And starting to check in now with your physical body, starting to become aware all the places of connection with the earth in this position, starting to feel length through the spine, a little heaviness through the limbs, allowing the floor to fully support you. Also starting to check in, noticing if there are any places in the body that already feel open and spacious, any areas that feel a little less so. Just moving with a kind eye, no judgment, just noticing what there is for you this evening. And starting to check in with your emotional body, your mood, just noticing what might be coming up here. It could be all sorts of things, knowing that everything that arises is valid. And doing your best not to label anything that you find as good or bad or should or shouldn't. But just noticing what there is. And starting to connect in to your mental state and activity. Maybe the mind is still rushing from thing to thing, winding down from the day. Or maybe it feels a little slower, maybe even a little tired. And just seeing if you can notice the thoughts as they arise, track them, and then release them on their way. And lastly, coming into connection with your breath. Noticing the rhythm, the depth, the cadence, maybe even the temperature. Noticing the quality of the breath. Does it feel smooth and round, or shorter and choppy, fast or slow? Maybe there's a noise coming in or coming out. And just starting to notice the path the breath wants to take within the body. Where does it flow into first and most easily? And where does it feel a little harder to send it? For these last few breaths before we begin to move, just planting a seed for our practice this evening of the element of water. In yogic philosophy, the water element symbolizes fluidity, clarity, movement, ease, and adaptability. We think about water as it makes its way through the rivers and the streams, even lakes and oceans. The obstacles in the path don't really ever stop it. It might have to change direction, go over, under, around, but it always makes it past. It always is able to keep going on its path, adapting and changing as it moves. We'll hold that energy together as we begin to move this evening. We're taking a few last breaths here. And as you feel ready, staying on your back, but beginning to blink the eyes open if they're closed, or just sharpen the gaze. And then we'll inhale, both arms up straight towards the ceiling, fingertips reaching towards the sky. And then on the exhale, sending the right arm overhead and the left arm back down towards your hip. And then inhaling, both arms up to the center, fingertips reaching towards the ceiling. And then exhaling, left hand overhead, right hand towards your hip. Use that a couple more times. Inhaling through center to change. Exhaling, right hand overhead. And last time, inhaling through the center, reaching up to change. And then exhaling to send the left arm overhead, right arm down towards the mat. And then inhaling, both arms back up to the sky and holding there. This time on the inhale, you'll reach the fingertips higher towards the ceiling, allowing the shoulders to lift away from the mat, feeling the shoulder blades wrapping around the back. And then on the exhale, bending the elbows into a cactus shape, squeezing the shoulder blades together. You'll be able to feel them move on the floor. And then inhale, reaching back up, that little extra push. Pull the shoulders away from the mat. And then exhale, lower the elbows, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Last time, inhaling your way up, a little reach through the fingers. And then exhale, drawing the shoulder blades together, bending the elbows. And then just gently folding the hands together over your chest. They're in prayer position with the fingers pointing towards the nose. Keeping the fingers together on the inhale, allowing the hands and arms to extend overhead, making a triangle shape towards the back of the mat. And then exhale, open the arms, bend the elbows, create a circular motion, sweeping the hands down and around and coming back to meet over the chest. And we'll take that twice more. Inhaling like a zipper, diving the arms overhead, palms are together. Exhaling to open the arms, create a circle, bending the elbows. Hands meet once again over the chest, and one last time. Inhaling to reach the arms overhead, palms pressing together. Exhaling to open, circling around. And then coming to rest with the hands over the chest. And then now taking a gentle roll over to one side. And then continuing to make your way on up. And then we'll come to hands and knees on your mat. Yep. Coming together. And as usual for these first few moments in hands and knees, you can make any movements that are calling to you. Maybe there's some circling that wants to happen. Maybe some spine waves coming through a few rounds of cat and cow. Maybe bending the elbows to get into the shoulder blades. Maybe even some full body staking or circling. Anything that you need to shake off the day and starting to get a little bit of lubrication in the joints. A few more moments of freedom here. Releasing the fitting of the day. Breathing smooth and steady as you go. Maybe 2 or 3 more rounds of breath here and you're experimenting. starting to settle towards some stillness in the shape here. And then we'll come down, keeping the hips high, bringing the forearms down towards the earth. So your forearms are like sphinx pose, but your hips are still pretty high over the knees. From here, you'll inhale the left hand behind your head. On the exhale, allowing the left elbow to dip down towards the mat. And then on the inhale, pressing into the right forearm so that you can lift that left elbow up towards the sky. And then exhaling, left elbow comes back down towards the mat. Inhaling to press open, stretching through the collarbones, shoulder blades reach together. And then last time, exhaling, left elbow comes down. Inhaling to push into the right forearm to give you some freedom through the left elbow. And then this time on the exhale, replacing the left forearm on the mat. And this time inhaling the right hand to the back of the head. Exhaling to allow the elbow to drop down towards the mat. And then inhaling up, right elbow now reaching towards the sky, left forearm pushing into the mat. Exhaling, right elbow towards the earth. And then inhaling up we go, coming into that twist, squeezing the shoulder blades together. Exhaling, right elbow towards the earth. And then last time, inhaling up, using the left forearm to help you get a little bit more space. And then exhaling, releasing that right forearm to the mat. And then coming back up onto both hands, checking to see that the hands are just slightly ahead of the shoulders and that the hips have landed right over underneath the knees. Yes. And then on the inhale, reaching back through that left leg. So the left leg reaching strong and straight behind you. Having a moment to arrive here in this shape, checking that all the left toes are pointing down towards the earth. That little press through the hands to separate the shoulder blades. Then on the next exhale, stepping the left foot to the outside of the left hand. Then gathering up the strength in the legs. And on the inhale, sweeping both arms up to the sky, coming into your low lunge. Yeah, great. Then from here, we'll take some backward arm circles with the arms. They're reaching up on the inhale, sweeping out and around on the exhale, creating a big sweeping circle. And then reaching your way back up towards the ceiling. We'll do that twice more. Inhaling up and back. Exhaling, connect to the belly as the arms reach back up to the sky. Great. Last time, this time if the spine wants to come along, you can let it. So on the inhale, maybe reaching back with the spine as well as the arms. And then exhale, connect to the belly. Straight spine, straight arms up to the sky. This time on the exhale, just releasing your hands to your hips, connecting the fingers to the bony hip points on the front here, making sure that both are facing forward. And then on your next exhale, starting to pull in the belly, tuck the pelvis under, the tailbone moving towards your toes, pubic bone moving up towards the nose. So there's a slight tucking under. Already you may be feeling something in your right hip flexor. If you don't feel quite enough, keeping that tuck of the pelvis, then you can start to inhale your way forward 1 or 2 inches, bending through that left knee. You might not even need to do that if you're already feeling it there. This is an area that gets pretty tight for most of us when we are sitting for a lot of the day. Breathing deep into that upper portion of the hip flexor. One more breath. And then exhaling to relax the hips back to neutral. And then reach the arms up on the inhale. One last big breath. And then exhaling, hands to the mat on the inside of that left foot. Pressing the hands into the mat to allow you to sweep that left leg long behind you once again. If you'd like to take a little balance from here, starting to shift the weight into the left hand, reach that right arm forward. Lots of space between the right fingers and the left toes. Strong belly. That left hand pushing strongly into the mat to engage the shoulder blades. Yes. One more breath here. And then gently exhaling all the limbs to the mat. And we'll take the second side. Inhaling to stretch the right leg long behind you. Again, taking a moment to arrive here, pulling in the belly, pushing the hands into the mat, checking to see that the right toes are facing down towards the floor. Yep, great. And then on the exhale, stepping the right foot to the outside of the right hand, gathering the strength in the legs and the belly, sweeping both arms up to the sky on the inhale, coming into your low lunge. And take those arm circles again. This time, if the spine feels ready, you can take it along all 3 times. So we'll inhale the arms up and back. Maybe the spine tilts backward as well. Exhaling, connect to the belly, straight spine, straight arms as you reach. Twice more. Inhaling up and back, as big of a circle as you like. Exhaling, arms reach to the sky. Last time. Inhaling out and around. Exhale to use the belly to help you straighten back up, arms lift. And then exhaling, hands to your hips once again. Finding those bony hip points, making sure that they're both facing straight forward. And then creating that scooping motion again, using the exhale to help you start tucking the pelvis under. Starting to feel that opening stretch in the left hip flexor now. Once again, if you need a little more, keeping that tuck, you inhale your way forward, maybe 1 or 2 inches. Shouldn't need much more than that. More important is to keep that pelvis tucked under. Good. Breathing 2 more full rounds of breath into that upper portion of the left hip flexor now. And on the exhale, releasing the hips back to neutral. And then scooping the arms up to the sky on the inhale. 1 last breath. Yeah, we're coming down now. Exhaling, hands to the inside of that right foot. Pressing into the hands so that you can sweep that right leg long behind you. And then once again, your option for the balance, shift the weight a little bit into the right hand and extend your left arm forward. Now keeping lots of space between the left fingers and the right heel. Checking to see that those right toes are facing the ground. Lifting strong through the belly. 1 more breath. And exhaling all the limbs to the mat. From here, walking the hands slightly ahead of the shoulders, gripping the mat with your fingertips and creating a kickstand with your toes. We'll inhale to prepare and then exhale to push into the hands and the feet and lift the knees just an inch off the ground. So you're in your hovering tabletop. Strong belly, hovering here. 1 more full breath. Yes, good. And then exhaling to send the hips high to the sky, coming into your downward facing dog. This is the first down dog of the practice, so take a few moments to make it your own. You can wiggle the feet back and forth, bend 1 knee at a time, whatever you need to do to make it feel a little bit more spacious. Yeah, bending the knees is great. Breathing here. Starting to settle into some stillness for the last breath. And then we'll come rolling forward to plank. So on the inhale, coming high up on the toes, and then using the whole breath to take you there. 1 vertebra at a time, smooth and steady as if you were coming up and over something. Ending in your high plank, shoulders over the wrist. That same little scoop in the belly that we used earlier. 1 more breath here. And then on the exhale, bend through the elbows, slow and steady, coming all the way down to the mat, touching the forehead down. Separating the hands slightly wider. And then on the inhale, kicking the toes into the mat, lifting just the head and shoulders up, coming into baby cobra. Back of the neck stays long, a little tuck in the chin. 1 more breath.
And then exhaling down, forehead to the mat. Second round, hands come a little bit wider, maybe even approaching the edges of the mat. On the inhale, kicking the toes into the mat, rolling the shoulders back, lifting up perhaps slightly higher this time, but still keeping the back of the neck long, gazing down towards the front edge of the mat. One more breath. And then exhaling, forehead to the earth. Last round, hands come on either side of the mat up onto your tented fingers. Checking that all the toes are still attached to the mat, even the pinky toes. And then on the inhale, rolling the shoulders up and back, maybe coming up at your highest expression now. Yes, still keeping the chin a little tucked. Mine is a little lifted because I'm looking at you. Yes, good. And then gently exhale your way all the way down, forehead to the mat. Hands come back underneath the shoulders. And then on the inhale, pushing back up to your hands and knees. And then smooth and steady, tucking the toes under and sending the hips to the sky, coming back to your downward facing dog. Just a brief stop this time. On the inhale, bending the knees and looking forward and taking a step or a walk to the top of the mat. Knees can stay as bent as you need when you arrive. And then pushing into the feet to release the arms out and up, making a circle towards the sky. And then exhale, hands to your heart as you stand. From here, we'll take a big step back with your left foot towards the back of the mat. So coming into your high lunge legs with your right leg bent in the front and your left leg strong and straight behind you. Taking a moment to really settle and arrive here. And then as you feel ready, inhaling both arms up to the sky, coming into your full high lunge. That's it. From here on the exhale, opening out into your warrior two, turning the chest towards the left, right knee stays bent, checking to see that that right knee is right over the right ankle. The left foot is at a little bit of an angle, but you're strongly sealed up that left outer edge of the foot on the mat. Hips are at a little bit of a diagonal bias. Shoulder blades bringing themselves together. Lots of space between the ears and the top of the shoulder. Holding smooth and steady breath here. And then on your inhale, flipping the right palm to face the ceiling, and then sweeping it up and back, coming into your reverse. That left hand can find somewhere comfortable to land, maybe on the left leg, maybe wrapping around the back. Either way is okay. Yes. Strong reach to those right fingers and recommitting to that back outer edge of the left foot. The more weight we can have in the back leg, the more maybe we can release into the bend in the right knee. One more breath here. And then on your exhale, that right arm will sweep in front of the body, right forearm landing on their right thigh. And then inhale, where release your left hand, reaching towards the back of the mat, and then over the ear towards the front of the room, coming into your side angle pose. Yes. Taking a little weight out of the right shoulder and the right neck. Sometimes it helps to push that right forearm into the thigh to do that. Holding steady here, one more breath. Looking good. And then on the exhale, look down. Place the left hand on the outer edge of the mat, rolling up onto the left toes. Then on the inhale, spiraling the chest and reaching the right fingers towards the sky, coming into a twist here. Yes, you got it. Squeezing the shoulder blades together, long, spacious neck. One more smooth breath. And then exhaling to look down once again, this time right fingers starting to brush the mat on the outside of that right foot. Gathering the strength in the legs, So then on the inhale, you can gently float your arms and your torso all the way back up to your high lunge. Yes, really nice. Good work there. Smooth, steady breath. We'll take that whole sequence one more time, this time moving more at one breath per pose, tracking all the poses along the way. So here we go. Inhaling to reach. Exhaling, fluid open to your warrior two. Inhale to flip the right palm, sweep it back, come into your reverse. Exhaling to take that right arm in front of the body, right forearm to right side. Inhale to sweep the left arm from the back of the mat to overhead. Looking down, exhaling to plant that left hand wide, roll up onto the left toes. Inhale that right arm towards the ceiling. One moment in your twist. Then exhale to look down. Right hand finds the outside of the mat. Strong and steady in the legs. Inhaling all the way back up to your high lunge. Yes, really nice. This time on the exhale, hands fold at your chest. Hinge over that right hip so that you can step your left foot to the top of the mat. Returning to standing. Yes, good. And then inhaling the arms out and around, up towards the sky. Exhaling, hands to your heart, and keep going, hinging forward at the hips, bringing the hands towards the mat, bending the knees as much as you need to get firm purchase with the hands on the mat, so that you can then step one foot and then the other foot back to your downward facing dog. Holding for a breath in your downward dog. And then we'll start to ripple to plank. High up on the toes on the inhale. Using the belly, scooping forward as if you were that water coming up and over an obstacle. Stopping in your high plank. And then on the exhale, bending the elbows, lowering all the way to the earth. This time, forehead touching the earth, arms reach back alongside the body. Thumbs face down towards the mat, palms face in toward the body. Separate the feet enough that you can get all 10 toes down on the mat, even your pinky toes. From here, on the inhale, roll the shoulders up and back, reach the hands toward the feet. So the hands are now lifted off the mat. The next inhale will lift your head and shoulders off the mat. Chin stays tucked. If you like, the next inhale takes your legs off the mat. Trying to keep that same position in the legs as you had before. So making sure that all the toes would still connect to the earth if the earth was below you. One more big breath. And then exhale to lower back to the mat, turning the cheek to one side. Resting here for a moment. And we'll take that one more time. This time I'm going to pop up to see you. So as you feel ready, exhaling forehead back to the earth. And then on the inhale, squeezing the shoulder blades together, lifting the hands away from the earth. Next inhale lifts the neck, head, and shoulders off the earth. Beautiful. If you like, next inhale inflates your legs, lifting up. Yes, Shalabhasana, really nice. Making sure that all those toes would face down towards the earth. Smooth, steady breath. One more round. This looks beautiful. And then gently exhale your way back down, turning the cheek the other direction, giving your neck and head a little bit of a rest. Slowing the breath down. And then exhaling your forehead back to the earth, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. And then this time, either through hands and knees, or if you like, create that kickstand with your toes. Inhale to prepare. And then exhale, lift the belly and push straight back up to your plank pose. Either way is okay. Gorgeous. Yes. Then on that exhale, bend the knees, send the hips back to the sky, come back to your downward facing dog. And this time on the inhale, bend the knees, look forward, and step or walk to the top of the mat. Press into the feet as you arrive, and sweep the arms out and around towards the ceiling. And then return your hands to your heart on the exhale. Great. And we'll take that on the second side. So this time on the inhale, taking a big step to the back of the mat with your right foot. So this time you're coming into your high lunge legs with your left foot in the front and the right foot in the back. Strong and steady through that back leg especially. And then as you feel ready, inhaling both arms up to the sky, coming into your full high lunge. Yes. Taking a moment to marinate here. And then on the exhale, opening out into your warrior two. This time torso towards the right, left leg is in the front. This first time going smooth and steady through these moves. Checking to see that your left knee is right over your left ankle, that your right foot is tilted slightly in towards you. Lots of weight through that back outer edge of the right foot. Hips are at that little bit of a diagonal bias. Arms and shoulders active, but released away from the ears. One more moment here. And then inhale to flip the left palm to face the sky. And then sweep that left arm up and back. Yes. Again, right arm finding some place to land, either on that right leg or wrapping behind you. Smooth reach with those left fingers. Lots of space along their left side of their rib cage. And again, recommitting to that back outer edge of the right foot. Yes, one more breath here. And then as you exhale, sweeping that left arm in front of the body, left forearm connecting to your left thigh. And then inhaling that right arm towards the back of the mat and then overhead, coming into your side angle pose. Taking again a little bit of weight out of the left side of the neck, maybe pressing the left forearm into the left thigh. Yes. Smooth, steady breath rhythm here. One more round. And then exhale to look towards the floor. Bring the right hand to the right outer edge of the mat. Roll up onto the right toes. And then inhale that left arm skyward, coming into the twist on the second side. Again, separating the ear from the shoulder by squeezing the shoulder blades together. Opening through the collarbones. One more moment here. And then exhale to look down. Brush the left fingers on the outside of the left foot. Gather the strength in the feet. And then smooth and steady, inhale your way all the way back up to your high lunge. Yes, great. And the second time we'll move more fluidly, thinking of that water energy as we go. So we'll inhale to reach. Exhale to open out into your warrior two. Inhale to flip the left palm. Sweep it up and back, coming into your reverse. Exhaling that left arm in front of the body, landing it on the left thigh. Inhaling right arm towards the back of the mat, and then up overhead. Exhaling, right hand finds the right or outer edge of the mat. Right toes connect. Inhaling left arm up to the sky, twisting for one moment. And then exhale to look down. Brush the floor with the left fingertips. And then smooth and steady, inhaling all the way back up to high lunge. Yes. And then exhaling, hands to your heart, hinging forward over that left hip now so that you can step your right foot to the top of the mat. And here we go, sweeping the arms out and up. Exhaling, hands to your heart. And then once again, hinging forward at your hips, bringing the hands down towards the mat, bending the knees as much as you need to get the hands firmly down. And then stepping your way back to your downward facing dog. Taking a couple of breaths to arrive in your dog, smooth and steady. And then here we go, rippling to plank. High up on the toes, scooping in through the belly. Moment by moment, you have all the time in the world. Ending up in your high plank. And then gently bending the elbows, coming all the way to the earth. And this time, one more option. You could stay with Shalabhasana as we did before, or if you like, you can bend the knees, bringing the heels towards the hips here. It's okay if they don't touch, or even if they're a little bit far away. And then if you like, extending the arms down the mat. If there's enough space, perhaps you start to wrap the fingers around the ankles. So making sure that if you're going here, that you're grabbing the ankles and not the feet. Yes. From here, making sure that the hips and the feet are in the same line. So sometimes the knees want to come really far apart, or the feet want to come really far apart. You want to keep them roughly situated in the same line. Then on the inhale, rolling the shoulders back, starting to lift the head and chest, and then a big, powerful kick with the legs. So that push with the legs is what lifts you up onto the front of that pubic bone, starting to come into the back bend. So there's more power in the legs than anywhere else. Holding here, one more breath. And then gently exhaling your way back to the earth. Once again, turning one cheek to the side. This time, maybe even allowing the hips to flop back and forth. Just releasing the low back a little bit. We'll get the chance to do it one more time. I'm gonna pop up so I can see you this round. And as you feel ready, exhaling the forehead back to the earth. And then as you like, second round, inhaling to bend the knees, bringing the feet towards the hips. And then extending the arms back, maybe connecting to the ankles, that's it. And then to prepare, inhale to roll the shoulders back, starting to lift the head and the chest, and then big, powerful kick on your inhale. So really pushing into those feet. Yes, that's it. The more power there is in the legs, the higher up the torso will come. That's beautiful. One more big inhale. And then gently release to the earth on the exhale, turning the cheek the other way. Maybe once again, waggling the hips back and forth if that felt good the first time. Very nice. And then releasing your forehead back to center on the exhale. Bringing the hands underneath the shoulders. And this time on the inhale, just gently pushing back up towards your hands and knees. Then allowing the knees to come a little bit wider, the toes to come together. And then walk yourself back so you're sitting on your heels. Yes, great. One last little back bending movement here. We'll inhale the arms straight up to the sky. And then on the exhale, starting to turn your chest towards the right. Right arm finding some place on the mat to land. Left arm reaching up. Look like I've gone way out of the camera. I'll come this way. Yeah, just like that. So you're in a combination of a back bend and a side bend. You'll pretend that you're opening a jar with your right hand. That will allow you to get some strength through the shoulder blade to support this movement from below. One more big breath here. And then to change sides, we'll exhale, starting to make a circle with that left arm coming in front of the body. Left arm starts to find the earth, tracing a half circle followed by your right arm until your left arm finds that place behind you and your right arm sweeps up towards the sky. Yes. Same idea here, opening the jar now with your left hand to get a little lift from the left shoulder blade. Smooth, steady breath, one more round. And then we'll exhale out the way we came in, circling that right arm now, circling in front, coming over to the other side one more time, planting the right hand, lifting the left. This time you can stay here, or open your jar with the right hand and then maybe lift the hips off the earth, coming into more of a back bend here. Yes, that's it, you got it. Holding steady wherever you are. And then last time to change, sinking the hips back down, keeping that left arm in front of the body, followed by your right. Left hand points, right arm comes overhead. Again, maybe stay here or open the jar with your left hand and pick your hips up into the back bend here. Either way is totally fine. There's a lot of stretch to be had in the first version. And gently coming out. This time as you sweep the arms forward, you'll stay with both arms forward and then allow the head to come down as well, so you're in your child's pose. And if it feels better to have the arms alongside the body, you could certainly do that. Either way is okay. And just allowing the breath to slow down, the mind to slow down. One or two more breaths here. And gently coming forward to your hands and your knees. Then just kicking the feet to one side and the hips to the other so that you can come to be sitting. And then you'll just bring the legs in front into any comfortable cross-legged position that feels good. And then we'll take a little twist here. We'll inhale the arms up towards the sky. And then on the exhale, turning towards your right. This time, right hand comfortably behind you, left hand on your right knee. Inhaling the spine tall, and then exhaling to come into the twist a little bit more deeply. Maybe the head starts to look out over the right shoulder, but maybe not. It can stay forward. We're not looking for your hugest, deepest twist here, but just a little relaxing release for the low spine. Breathing smooth and steady. And inhaling your way back up through center, arms reach towards the sky. And then exhale towards the left. Left hand planting on the mat, right hand on your left knee. And then inhaling the spine tall. Exhaling to come a little deeper into the twist, maybe adding the head, looking over the left shoulder. Maybe not. Each side of the neck is different, so you choose. I'm thinking of just releasing all that back bending, breathing smooth and steady. And inhaling, arms back up towards the sky. And then just gently releasing the hands to the mat. And then we'll stretch both legs long out in front, shaking the legs out a little bit. And then we're gonna head towards the earth. So you can decide how you'd like to get there. If you want a little more core work, you can inhale the arms parallel to the earth. Yep, make sure you have room behind you.
And then pull in the belly, that same little scooping action we've been working with, and starting to roll your way down one spine segment at a time. If it ever feels like too much, you can always bend your knees. Great, that looks great. And then once you've arrived on your back, inhaling both arms overhead, stretching out long, lots of space between the feet and the fingers, sending the breath into the rib cage, expanding out to the sides. And then gently allowing the hands to find the earth on the exhale. And bending one knee at a time to bring your feet to the mat. Keeping the feet fairly wide here. And starting to find a comfortable position for the arms. They could stay by the sides, maybe just palms up. You could bring them out to a T shape. I don't have quite enough room on this side. You could bend the elbows and come into a cactus shape. But something that allows the head of the arm bones to fall comfortably towards the earth. Once you have a nice arm position, then starting to gently rock the knees back and forth, like your legs were a giant pair of windshield wipers. It doesn't have to be your biggest movement, but just slow and steady to see what your body wants to do here. Just taking that last release of the spine. A couple more rounds like that. And then the next time that the knees are moving towards the left, you can allow them to feel heavier and drop all the way to that side. And then maybe adding the head, looking out towards the right, only if that feels okay on your neck. Breathing deep and slow. And then inhaling through center to change, nose and knees face the ceiling. And then exhaling, knees to the right, maybe head looks out over to the left. Ooh, steady breath all along the side of the ribs and the waist. Allowing gravity to twist you here. And inhaling, nose and knees back to the ceiling. And then last little bit, drawing both knees into the chest. And you can choose to wrap the arms around the front of the shins, coming into a little ball. Or you can also create the ball by hooking underneath the hamstrings, underneath the knees, that's fine. Wherever you are, maybe there's a little movement that wants to happen, perhaps rocking from side to side, or maybe making some circles or figure eights around the spine and the pelvis. If you are doing some type of circular movement, just make sure you go both directions at some point. And then gently bringing the knees to the shoulders, and left knee towards the left shoulder, right knee towards the right shoulder. Maybe stay here. Maybe the hands connect to the feet. And then if the hands are connected to the feet, then maybe lift the feet towards the ceiling, coming into your happy baby. You can also rock your baby if you like. Allowing the weight of the legs to help push the sacrum and the pelvis down towards the mat. And your 2 more last breaths here. And gently allowing the feet to find the mat once again. And heading towards your Shavasana now, so you can decide how you'd like to keep your legs. You might like to leave the knees bent. If you do that, just toe heel the feet really wide and knock the knees together so that you don't have to hold them up. Or you might like to take the legs long, maybe even prop your legs up on something. And then once again, finding some comfortable position for the arms. Yeah, butterfly is great too. And just know, letting yourself rest, giving yourself permission to completely let go of conscious control of the breath or the body. This is the synthesis of the practice. So really allowing it to be cozy and comfortable. And I will allow the sound of my voice to fade away. You can rest in silence for a few moments, and then I'll gently call you back. Gently starting to make your way back, inhaling the breath back into the body, starting to introduce some gentle movement at your edges, fingers and toes. As you feel ready, making those movements a little bit larger, closer to your center. And at some point, you'll make your way to one side. Pause there for a moment, just to let every part of your system catch up with you. And then as you feel ready, making your way back up to your comfortable seat, but maybe still with the eyes closed or a soft gaze out in front. Something that allows the attention to stay internal for a few moments more. Finding someplace comfortable for the hands to land, perhaps in your lap, maybe folded at the chest, or anything else that you like. These last few breaths together, knowing that you can take that fluidity and adaptability of the water with you as you go to get around the obstacles we face, not just on the mat, but off. Our yoga practice is a blueprint for our practice out in the world. I thank you so much for joining me and sharing your practice with me this evening. And I wish you a lovely weekend. Namaste.